Look, man, we work to the end.
When you doing work before the podcast?
Look, hey, creator and I.
It don't stop.
It don't stop. You heavy. Proposal sent. All right.
Hey.
Now.
You know the vibes. It's after 5 and we're live. Create or die. Let's go. I'm your host, Shania.
And Bianca.
This is episode 1 of Create or Die. So let's tell the people a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
Go
So,
ahead, Bianca.
all right. Well, I'm Bianca. I am a photographer and videographer here at Carbon Stories, owner of Simply Female. Working on just making a dope community of women to help support each other and do cool things. That's pretty much all I do.
Right.
Yeah. What about you, Shania? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a videographer and photographer here at Carbon. I also have a ministry called Beauty for Ashes, as well as another podcast called Do It Scared Anyway. And I'm also part of Lope Active. What's
like
up,
it.
Wayne?
What's the dilly? You know, what's the deal? Yo, no, man, it's Wayne. I'm a project manager here at Carbon Stories. I'm also a part owner of Wild Boys LLC and the Splice Agency, which is a social media management firm. And I take pics and vids too. You know, I parlay in the film realm
Pics
a little
and
bit.
vids.
Yeah, you know the
We all do
vibes.
pics and vids.
Yeah,
Pics and
facts.
Bigs. My name is Eric Lachey. I'm affectionately called Ricky Love by some.
Oh my
only
God.
a few though.
Do
Only
the
a
cricket,
few.
please.
And
It'd be bad if I hit the wrong button.
and so I myself, I'm a creative. I'm the creative director of Carbon Stories. I'm involved with Lope Running Apparel. I'm involved with Plug. I'm involved with Lachey Design. I'm involved with Savvy. I'm involved with Carbon Waffles. I'm involved with Creative
He does
Mafia.
all the things.
I'm
All the
involved with a lot of things,
Go
but
crazy.
for the most part, creative director at Carbon Stories. That takes up majority of my time. So
Yeah, so for this first episode, I want to, stick with the introductory, how do you say that word?
that's it.
Introduction.
Right there.
Introductory,
Yeah.
introductory type mode, and talk about, not so much of how Carbon started, but more about the culture. People are really attracted to the Carbon culture. Some people think we're a cult, just a lot of things.
We're not.
So I would love to just talk about how this culture was built. Why do you think it's so attractive to people? And then talk about also it's not glitz and glam. Like, it takes a lot of work. We've had nights where we cried. We have nights that we wanted to quit, and just the fact that we kept going. So who wants to go first?
I feel like, you started it, so
Exactly.
yeah. You want to talk a little?
No, I mean I
about
can
it?
talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
genesis of it, but I will say that I just helped with the spark that initiated it, but I wouldn't say it was just me. I mean, it's not just me who developed the actual culture, because you can't have culture by one person. Like, of course, you can do base and you can have a hope for people to come through and actually create, but in no way was I oh, this is exactly what everybody's going to be doing 5 years from now when they start the company. So, but I can go back to the beginning, the genesis. In the beginning, God created the no, so it was 5 years ago. Do you do the crickets again? Don't call it the cricket. We needed to burn for that. No, so in 2015, I was doing a lot of personal projects by myself. Clients were paying me in McDonald's gift cards. I'm more of a Wendy's kind of guy. And so it got frustrating for me.
No, wait, this one. Wait.
Yes.
Oh, that was I did the wrong thing. That was for your joke.
That's all right. That's all right.
I was trying to do the wah, 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 but
Yeah.
it's
That's perfect. You keep that one ready up, queued up. No, so I was basically doing work and not getting compensated the way that I wanted to, but it was honestly my fault not having the proper respect for the craft. Remember, even my parents would call me a photographer. They'd be like, "Oh, you're a videographer," and I'd be like, "No, I'm not. I just make videos sometimes." But I was not doing it on purpose, bottom line. And so, but I knew that there was a demand, and I slowly was seeing people around me who were interested in just creative things. And so got together with 3 of my friends from high school that we had kind of worked on some other things. We had plans and plots for creating the next Facebook, but that never worked out. Either way, it was cool that we were able to come together and do something practical. But early on, I remember us having the meeting down at Blue 35, downtown Grand Rapids, and I literally was just here's the base of what we're thinking. We'll do photo, video, graphic design work, and then we'll see where it goes. I think that first meeting was 10 minutes, and I think it was 3 slides that we had. But initially, again, it was just trying to do what I was able to do by myself, but at a better level, because I knew that I'm not the best in those areas. I just could do what the people who had reached out to me before needed. And so as much structure as there is now, back then, it really was just simple, we tell stories, we share experiences, we do that through photo, video, graphic design. And then from there, we continued to grow. And then, of course, through the years, like there have been people who've realized that building something isn't something they want to be a part of. More of they want to be already able to join things that already are established. Some people who've came to the team are like, yo, I want to be here to help build this ship that is coming to existence. And so it's been cool to kind of just like ebb and flow and also see the different types of energy and time that people want to be putting into the company. But yeah, for the most part, at the beginning, it was just like people who I went to high school with, and we came together and we made some videos and we knocked on doors and we're like, hey, if you need videos or photos, graphics, let us know. So that's the beginning of Carbon.
I love it.
Actually, I remember being here before the process was what it was today, and even the vibes were different, the people were different. So I feel like as we got more structured, the vibes became more positive. The culture became embedded into something that people actually want to be a part of and don't have to leave the room and feel like they're going to be trash afterwards. You know?
100%
So
agree.
I do see something in the process being so important of the structure of Carbon, and then, you know, things changing. So.
And I'll even take responsibility for that, because I think early on I didn't know how much of people management needed to even be done, because I was like, well, if they're a photographer and they're a videographer, they'll just definitely work well together. But it's like, no, there's personalities that get involved. And then there's also like just everybody grew up differently. Even the people who I had happened to grow up around, they were from different areas of my life. So some of them were like I knew from church, and some of them I knew from school, and some of them I just knew from the community. And so then as we started to get people who came around that we just met from Instagram, it's like there has to be some type of standard that has to be built. And so, yeah, I would say when you joined the team was when that standard started to be built of like, this is how we respect the other creators. This is what it means to be here for everyone and not just be here for what can I get from being involved. And then from that, it just continued to grow, and we'll never stop evolving. But yeah, early on, there was no, we didn't need a vibe manager back in the day. So the vibes were just like, oh, whatever ends up happening happens. That was kind of what it was.
Who's the vibe manager?
The vibe manager, that's Ricky Luck. Nah.
No.
Well, I wasn't really, here for that part. I ain't gonna lie. I tell you this every time. Like, I first met E, I thought he was weird, and I like him. I feel it. It was
Dude,
like
he's crazy,
I'll tell you,
man.
because when I met him, he was just in and out so fast. He worked, he got his thing, he did his thing, he was there, and he dipped, and there was no convo. But like the guy I met him through, Steve, was more like, who owns Muse. He was like, yo, get to know E, because he's like really cool. And I'm like, okay, bet. And then when he came through, and I was like, he ain't cool. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Talked about
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah,
Hit the
all right,
crickets,
whatever.
hit the
You feel
crickets.
me?
Are
But
you hitting the
no.
right button?
Yeah, it's great. Oh,
Yeah.
But no, after that, that was like my first introduction to E, but then came to Carbon, and I was like, okay, I see the vibe. It is cool, but it's different from like a lot of other spaces, because you're just not used to like, you're used to collaborating with people or with entities, and there has to be I'm getting this for this exchange, like every time, right? And it's like, it's weird when you walk into somewhere and it's like, yo, how can I help you? And it's not how can I help you in like a sense of like I'm serving you, but it's like, yo, I see you have a level of, there's something coming from you. How can we like grow that? Like, what's next? And it's like, you have to almost like self-audit like yourself. And so if you're not ready for that yet, you can kind of be like, y'all weird. Like, you leave me alone. Like, this
It's
is
intimidating.
yeah, it's like kind of awkward. But like, thankfully I was in the right mental space to be in the spot to where I was like, yo, I'm already self-auditing. So like, this fits perfect with where I need to be at. And so from there, I was able to just mesh in. And so, I mean, I don't know about y'all, I can't say, but I think I fit in pretty well around
You
the
fit in
mug,
very
you know what
well.
I'm
You
saying?
fit in very well.
But no, so it's been dope to, just grow with the brand. It's only been, I haven't even been around a whole year yet. It's coming up, but like, hasn't even been a whole year yet. But like, I feel like I've been here for years.
Yeah.
Just because of
I honestly thought you were here for like a year.
We've traveled the country.
factual.
We've
We've been like to over
13
20 states
states.
together. Yeah, it's been a lot.
We
Like,
are.
6,000 miles.
yeah.
part of it.
So yeah, but it's a part, bro. And it's like, we did Big Camp, and for those who don't know, Big Camp was our big cross country family road trip. You know what I'm saying? We traveled to all across the Americas,
Everywhere, just about.
seeing different national parks from Yellowstone to Zion, very close to Yosemite, spots like that. But that, like, for me, I can say like that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have people around me to push me to make that idea. I would have thought of that like, no, you can't. It's people around me like, no, how? That's the difference, you know. So
And I feel like around here, this one guy said, if someone were to come to you right now ready to pay off your debt, and they say how much you need, you're like, oh, around like 12. No, how much exactly do you need? Know exactly what you want. So when someone comes to you, it's like, yo, I can help you do this. You already know what to say. Don't, you know. So I feel like that's kind of what you were talking about with the self audit.
It was really like that. Yeah, it was legit. Like I was in a space where I had just started my social media thing, and it wasn't like like the thing is like it's capable for Carbon to have been in a spot where it's like, oh, come work for us off rip. Like, you could just do this for us. You don't have to have your brand. But it was more like, no, you're creating this. This is dope. Let's build you up. Like, not take what you have, but let's grow that. What do you need from us that could help you in that career path? Or like, what structures do you need? And that's what it was. It was a lot of like internal structure stuff that I was just didn't really know that I can hit E with, and he'll be like, oh, well, I kind of did this with Carbon, so, you know, check this out. This might be helpful for you in a situation. And it was able to do that. Even down to clientele. It was clients who were like, yo, we got the digital media part, but we need social media. And it's like, yo, we got a guy. That's dope. You know what I mean? People would just been like, oh, I can do that because it's another check. You know what I'm saying? But instead of being like that, it's like, nah, I got somebody who, this is his focus. I can help him grow in this situation. So it's been nothing but love to be around, you know, and it's like the weirdest, dopest thing to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so super cool.
What about TV?
I'd say when I first started coming around, I was really intimidated. I knew I really wanted to be here, but I didn't know why. I was probably like 18 at the time when I first started coming around. And I just saw all y'all doing your thing. And it was right when like you were only hired in like a little bit after or before my internship, right? And so it was just when that like structure thing you're talking about was getting into place. And so like you guys were all on pedestals in my mind. I walked in, I was like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And now, like, y'all, you guys are my friends and stuff. So it's like, not that I don't think you're dope by any means, but I just remembered I was like, I want to be here. I don't really know why. It's not anything I'm having to do with my degree or anything, but I just want to be here. And it was just like this energy that like attracted me. And then, you know, from then to now, like my growth, like I always say, like, if you hang around Carbon, you'll grow faster than anywhere else. And I feel like even from like 2019 to like now, like even 2018 to now, like the amount of growth I've had because you guys have all pushed me, you've held me accountable, you've, you know, taught me how to take criticism, you've taught me all so much. It's like I wouldn't be who I am today without Carbon, without this group of people, I wouldn't have Simply Female. I wouldn't, you know, be confident. I thought this was a hobby you had to do. Like, and now it's like today I think I edited some photos, planned photo shoots all day, and now I'm recording a podcast and that's my job. And I still to this day have those moments like, this is my job. Like, and sometimes you feel like you don't even, sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to go get a job. I'm like, wait, no, like this is it. Like, cause it's fun for me. And so, it's what you were saying, that energy where people just want to help you. It's weird at first because you expect people to want to, you know, get something out of it or what's your like ulterior motive. But like, it taught me to be that to other people too. So
facts.
Yeah, I definitely was intimidated because I remember, I think it was 2 summers before I actually got hired in, or a summer before I got hired in, people were telling me, yo, Carbon about to take off, you need to get in there. And I was like, nah, I'm straight. Because it was like, wait, people my age are doing this professionally? There's no way I'm good enough. Like, automatically didn't think I was good enough. But I finally was like, I did it scared anyway. Shameless plug. And and I did, and I'm really grateful that I did it. But like one thing I did realize was being at Carbon showed me possibilities that I didn't think at my age I could achieve. Because growing up, I was told, you're not gonna be able to do this you're gonna have to wait till you're like 30 or 40 to really say you made it in this industry. And so I expected that, but then I'm like, yo, like this can't be real. Like this can't be right. It has to be something more to this. And then Carbon showed me that. Like I've done stuff that I never thought I would either do or do at this age. Probably, so
we always have those moments too. I think like throughout the year we always sit down and whether we're traveling or we're creating and like just in smaller groups, we literally, I think all the time, maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, we're like, this is our job. This is what we're doing. Like we're here. Like even, you know, when we were hiking, we were in Zion, we were like, we're like sitting here with cameras in our hands, looking at these mountains and like, we're working, but like we're here. And it's like the fact that we don't have to go clock in and stay somewhere till 5, clock out, and then do the same thing. Like we can do, you know, whatever and grow whatever, and the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are actually endless. You know, that's
we just
crazy.
asked, we was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah, we're like when, how?
Can we put in for this week that we can get this off?
Yeah, I think Carbon changed my vocabulary too. It wasn't like a if I can, it's like a when I can, which is something Eric you always said to me. So it like changes your vocabulary, and I even noticed like people outside of, you know, Carbon and stuff, I'll start talking like, no, not if, like when, or like how, you know, changing that up changes your mindset and then makes you do it.
Yeah. think that's the biggest thing, like mindset. And then you can't get that mindset until you have exposure to the fact that it's possible. And I think all of us, of course, I say this all the time, would have even been at the places that we're at and that we're going, even at the same time maybe. But like, I just know one thing that Carbon does provide for people is a accelerated way to get there. Because, I mean, we personally don't know, even our connections around the country, a group of people, creatives, our age, our demographic, that are able to do what we are able to do. And so it's like, because we have these unique experiences, we're getting exposed to more. And then like, just when we think that, you know, X restaurant isn't going to respond, they respond, shout out to Sweet Chick. And we're able to then go make video, photo content for our favorite restaurant in the country, you know, like, so it's like, as soon as every time more and more ends up happening and more opportunities open up, it's like more fire to keep going. And then the mindset shift happens even more, like not if, when. And then also on the value side of stuff, like I will say, I don't know if Shania wants to get real specific, but I mean, I said your name, so it didn't matter, but we were having a conversation with somebody this past weekend here, literally in this exact same spot. And she was ear hustling and heard as we were talking about an idea that the guy is working on, and he needed some more funding for it. And I've known the dude for a minute, like I grew up with him basically. And so I'm grateful that he felt comfortable enough to come to me and say like, yo, like, this is how much I need. Like, is this possible to help out? Shania ear hustling on some value stuff, like only heard that stuff was needed and like waited till the convo was done and was like, how much? Like, I can also help put in. And like, that was without even, he didn't even turn to ask her. It was just like, she knew him. She's met him she's known him for like, what, 2 years now? 3 years. Bottom line being him being around this community, him being around this culture. He's even mentioned about how it's helped take his idea to that next place. And then now, like, on some, not what can I get out of the deal, just I want to see what you're trying to do happen. She was there to support and like didn't have to at all. But like, those are those really tangible, practical examples of the mindset shift, the value that's being added, and then also the like, not if, it's like when, and like, how can I help make that happen? And if you don't have that perspective or mindset here, like, you know, you'll be around for a little bit, but then you realize that there's not much that you can do for the whole. Like, and of course we all have our own brands, goals, and individual things, but like, as all of us find success, we help take each other to that place too. Even with George moving out to Napa, like I was just FaceTiming him last night and he was like, all right, when's the next time you guys are gonna be out here? Like, we got to figure out what we can be doing to help you guys be here too. So it's just good to know that like, in the community, we're all going to be there to help make each other do these things without there being too much even structure around it. That's not like written in a handbook, you know. It's just like the vibes.
It was crazy that I've always been the type of person that's like, oh, okay, you have something, I want to help you grow. So like in college, I was on like 5 executive boards on the e-boards in Grand Valley because people wanted to start something. Bet I'll help you do it. And then even like when I first started at Carbon wasn't where it was at. But I remember you saying the first people that was on the team, they didn't want to wait. They wanted to be in something that was already cool, already established. I'm the type that already wants to do that. So like, even with that example with him, it was, you want to do something so amazing, but how can I just help? And then Carbon, you know, helping me with projects and giving me jobs, I was financially able to do something that was already in me. So one thing I always say about Carbon is like, I love the creative support. I love the support in general. It's just an amazing like tool that we have in our arsenal.
I think the different ways of support are good too, because I mean, it'll be different depending on the day or who I'm talking to, but the type of support that I am is like, no, you're being lazy, go do it, you know.
Yes.
But then you also get the perspective of other people who are like, oh, take your time, like, you know, well, how do you feel when you're making it? And I'm just like, nah, I don't care how you feel, go do it. And then sometimes people need to just, it's like a balance of both, because I definitely understand where there are those projects where it's like, it has to feel right. It's got to be something that you've let bake, you know, in the oven for a minute. But then there are sometimes that it's got to be put on the fire and it's got to just, you know, sizzle with the sizzle sound effects, and that thing just get created. So it's good to have that balance. What would you guys say, like, on the balance side of things, you've grown in the most, like, from being around here?
I for sure probably say taking idea to execution. I think that's like biggest probably. Like even similar to Shania, like, you know, I was somebody that like, yo, if you needed like an idea flush, let's flush the idea. You know, let's do that. Let's brainstorm. Let's get it there. That's cool. But it was always that, all right, now we got to do it. And that was the part that would always be a little more held up. And I think that was something I just had to like witness it being done to be like, oh, I can do it. You know, that was just like that extra push to come out here and, you know, and it started to be around you guys. It's like, yo, I was in New York last week. We about to go to New York next month. Oh, by the way, we about to fly down to so-and-so. Fort Wayne is right here. Miami. I'm like, yo, how are you even doing this at this age for these type of clients? Oh, yeah, we shoot for so-and-so. They're the biggest furniture supplier in the woo-woo on the Midwest. And then we go down here and it's like, yo, what? And I'm tripping about getting this one retainer client. That's what's killing me. Is like, nah, it just kind of shows you that, like, yo, you can pace the ride all you want, but like you only gonna get as far as you press the pedal down. You gotta floor it, like, if you want to get it done. And I think that was something that like kind of put that battery pack in my back, like, all right, now it's time you gotta go. Like, you gotta go or you're gonna get left. So just push. So I think that was probably my biggest thing, is the execution factor, for sure.
On the other side of that, I have heard people talk about how from being around here, they can't just like sit at home and watch Netflix sometimes.
Bro, it's
so
tough.
And that could be the bad part of it. Would you guys say that any of you have struggled with like turning it off because of being
Yeah.
here?
Listen, what turn off button?
Yeah.
What is it? It does
Yeah.
not
Right?
exist.
Can't
That's
find
what I'm
it.
doing. Where's the turn off?
Bro.
Always on.
The only time I can watch Netflix, it has to be like, it got to be like late night, like
Yeah.
11:30,
Yeah.
12. Like, I'm like, bro, either I'm tapped out or like
Yeah.
I need to wind
Yeah.
down for a
Yeah.
bit. But it can't be like, oh, there's nothing to do. Let me watch Netflix.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry.
I
There's
legit would
another-
turn it on. Okay, I'm about to use the bathroom bag. I'm about to watch it a little bit. Well, I'm just, then I got to turn it again. Like, it's those little
Multitasking.
spurts.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of The Office. That was it, like
You
20
feel me?
minutes.
Yeah, not even paying attention.
Right.
It's
The
on.
reason why I agree with it is because I'm like, I know that it's for a season as well. Like, all of us have end goals of like, I mean, here specifically, we've all talked about wanting families, you know? Some people talked about not even caring necessarily to build a family, but with that in mind, we know that it's like the sacrifices that we do now are going to set us up to have a way more free schedule when it's time for kids, when it's time to be building those like family memories because of the sacrifices, the relationships we're building now, processes, you know, that other people who are 24, 23, 22-year-olds are going to be able to continue to execute on, and we'll be more of the ones just helping facilitate those projects versus being on so many of them. Like, I know that it's just going to continue to grow the seeds that we're sowing now so that later on, yeah, there will be more of a balance in some areas. And I feel like over the years, though, there has even been more now. Not I feel like you can look at my Instagram photos and tell that there have been, because my hair used to be even crazier than it is now, because I just would be like, I ain't got time to worry about anything. So it's been cool to see that progress too.
That was your meter. I remember you say your
Yeah.
hair was your
Oh,
meter. If you
go
was
look.
doing
Yeah, if you see the Instagram, if you see the fuzzy, it's like, whoa, Eric ain't been asleep in a minute. Yeah, no. And then other people from the team too. Like, I think Kristen was Kristen was the first person to be put on stuff consistently every week, for sure. And she's talked about how like she's seen the difference in like being able to balance that even more. And then now I have to sometimes like remind team members like, yo, we can push that deadline. Like, it's a phone call sometimes. It's just as simple as like, yo, let's do this tomorrow. But wait, so what are some more of those like bad things that you would almost want to warn people about when it comes to an environment that's like growth so much? You know what I mean?
I feel like for me, it was a lot of like, now it's like accepting like, okay, you know, it's 10, 11 o'clock. Like I if I worked right now, it's going to be bad work. So let me just watch Netflix. Cause before I was like, it's gotta be like a weekend and it's gotta be like one episode and like only on a Saturday. And if I watch more than one episode, like I'm not going to succeed.
Right.
And like you guys can all know, I'm so super hard on myself. So it's like, I have to do this like routine schedule, work. And then like maybe fit people in like, oh, you want to hang out? Okay, well I have this hour for you. And I think that it's like we get in this like, oh, we got it. People use the, you know, the hustle, the grind. We even talked about that in one of our Bible studies, like those words. It's like you think it's like you got to work yourself to death, and people even say like, I can sleep when I'm dead. Well, it's like you keep working and you don't sleep, you're gonna be dead sooner than you
I'm
think.
sleeping more now than ever. I
and
get
so-
at least 7
So I
every
need to
night.
get on that.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned, not only about execution, because that was like my issue, especially last year, it's also capacity. So I think about like a building, right? A building has a certain amount of capacity, like 150, right? So if you want to do bigger events, if you want to hire more people, then you have to get a bigger building. And so with me, I used to think, okay, I can't do too much because then I'm a fail at something. And being with Carbon is like, no, you can do as much as you want to, just have a better process for it. And so right now, I'm as busy as I've ever been in my life, but I'm not overwhelmed yet. I'm on the brink. I'm not gonna lie.
Almost there.
But I'm also not falling short. Like everything I'm doing is still an excellence. So it's just like learning that if I want to do more, I have to push myself. I'm pushing myself as much as possible right now, doing things I never thought I would do, saying yes to things that I'm scared to do. Doing it scared anyway. But
Plug number 2.
right. But like it's something I learned from Carbon. Like especially you, like Eric, you do so much, and I'm just like, how? it's stuff I don't even know you're doing, but it's just like, how? Your name is almost so much stuff, but you're not like shying away from that. You're like, no, I need to do this stuff because in the end, it's going to take me here. And then now you're able to do 10 things at once and it's nothing because you've done it already. So one thing you used to say, like, oh, edit. Remember that one time you was like, edit this video in 30 minutes. And I was like, I can't. And you was like, yes, you can, because if you do it, you'll be able to do it again even faster. And so like, it's that same type of method.
I like the concept of people knowing what their limits are, because then they're able to then know, okay, I can't get back to that space again. So like, I think it was last year around this time, I had like a free night, Saturday night or something. And I tried to get a group of people to do it with me. Nobody did. I'm sure you guys might have if I had offered it to you too. But I wanted to do as many scenes as possible until I was too tired and couldn't shoot anymore in the studio. And I think I lasted till like 4 a.m. and I just passed out on the beanbag boy and went home. But bottom line, it was like, I wanted to do that because I'm like, I want to know, what is it like for me to be in the studio trying to create, and it's like super late, and you know, and it was nothing. The photos came out pretty decently, but still either way, it was like, go to where that limit is so that you at least know where not to go anymore. You know, then it's like, all right, by 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna be tired. So I can't ever plan to have to be working that late, because that's when, like you said, you know that if it's like 11 o'clock, you may be doing some work that's just not as meaningful for you. And it's like seasons as well. Like people should definitely always take a step back and say like, okay, this is what's happening right now, but it doesn't mean that that's what's going to be happening in 3 months from now, because projects, opportunities, they all are going to ebb and flow. Like there'll be times when it's more process stuff you're working on that don't involve actual client work. And then there's things that it's like, I'm doing a lot of client work right now for everyone, even if they aren't on the like structure side of whatever it is that they're building. But yeah, I definitely just agree to the extent of like figuring out like what your capacity and limit is. And then also knowing like sometimes like that might be the chance to step up to the plate to grow your capacity, to build it, especially since everybody's is different. Like, and that's why it's really difficult to even try to tell people. And I never compare in regards to like who's doing what, because I mean, experience, passion, what it means to people. Like when I introduce myself to someone right now, yes, I'm definitely saying photographer, videographer, but like, that's because that's what I do the most of with my time. But I enjoy business first. Like business is the thing that I like doing. And like Carbon Stories is the first business that actually is able to have so much demand that it takes up so much of my time. But like I'm involved with these other things that I am still passionate about. But I also know at the same time that it's like based on seasons, it might come one day that plug is taking up majority of my week. And then like Carbon is something that I'm just literally only creative directing for. And then like as we grow, different things are like passed off to people who are more passionate about those things. So yeah, I definitely agree. Like finding your capacity, and then from there, like you're able to grow from that.
And because of fear, I would have never found that. Know that, okay, this is my limit, or I can actually go more than this if I stayed in this fear realm that I always been in for years. And so finally when I stepped outside of that, I'm like, oh, actually I can do all this at once, and I can do a little bit more, and I can do a little bit more, and I'm okay. Okay, and I'm still doing great, but let me do more and let me see where my breaking point is, where my limit is. And then once I reach that limit and I'm done with everything, I know now I can try to do one more thing. Like eventually you have to grow. So like, I don't know, I just appreciate Carbon for that. And like, yeah, you do the tough love and stuff like that.
Oh, got to.
It depends on who it is to me. I can take it, and I need that, because if you soften me, I'm just not gonna do it. So like, I do appreciate that.
I feel like that tough love thing is like you can take it, but like for me, I remember like you see me cry a couple of times. You do that tough love, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I think going to that capacity thing is like over the years, I wouldn't say like, yes, my capacity for how much I can do has grown, but not necessarily because I was scared, but more like I didn't know what to do. And so like I came to Carbon, I remember they'd be like, oh, Bianca did some photos, or edit like a 5x5 night. All right, cool. All right, got it done. All right, so I feel like I should still be here, not really sure what to do. I'd go to the store, I'd come back. Like it was just really random stuff, but now it's like more is getting out, putting it on my plate, and I'm like, okay, like how do I handle this? How do I navigate it? And now it's like, I think a lot of times I was just doing busy work to seem busy, and now it's like I'm actually getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And that season thing too you're talking about, it's like, you know, this week I've been doing a lot of Simply Female stuff, but there's weeks it's like all Carbon stuff. And like I think the seasons also come with like the mental state that you're in, because it's like there would be, you know, a few weeks where it's like, man, I really need to just be home with my family. I can't be around like the office right now. Or there's times where I'm like, I can't be home right now. I need to be at the office. And so knowing your seasons and knowing that it's okay for things to be in a season too.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. With the tough love, it made me think about criticism here. I just want to hear you guys' perspective on like how we critique each other as a whole. And now this is back like big picture, like affiliates included, just people who are here after 5. Like, I don't know, what has that been like for you all? Where have you grown in certain areas?
Yeah. So when I first came around here, I sucked at just, you know, people critiquing my work. Like I got very, you know, offended by it. I would get super defensive. I've gotten defensive with you before, not even just work stuff, life stuff too. And I think I took everything personally, even down to like, Bianca, you put that tripod up wrong. I was like, no, I didn't. It's fine. And so I think it's really like stepping outside of like that moment, be like, oh, they're just helping me grow, knowing why am I getting criticized? Like, why are they like telling me to fix something? It's not because they're saying like, oh, Bianca, you suck, or oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore. They're like, no, Bianca, just fix the tripod so you can shoot better. And so I think like detaching like myself from like my work and like realizing like it's just gonna make me better, I can take it a lot better, and even just life stuff, knowing like nothing's coming at me from like a malicious standpoint. It's all just like growing you and helping you. And so
anymore, there was a time there may have been some people here who might have been a little malicious with it, but now the people who are here, it's definitely not malicious
anymore. But yeah, so I think that's like, I mean, even down to, I also, like I said, take things to heart, take things personally. I'll never forget that time last year when I was in Minnesota and that one project with that church. You got really mad that whole weekend, and you mad at everybody.
It was everything happened.
That was that weekend?
Oh
yeah, I was trying to visit my family.
They talk about this weekend.
Carmen was about to be a person of one.
Literally, and I was like, with my family, like, Bianca, you okay? I'm like, I'm not okay. I gotta edit this video.
Wayne wasn't around that time. We all were like, we were having meetings like, so y'all, so we gonna start our own thing. Like,
literally,
listen,
because I texted you, I was like, I just cried. Eric's making me cry. He keeps texting me. I'm trying to be on vacation.
No one
he
was
hates
following the process, man.
And nobody was sorry. He said no one's really sorry. No one really cares.
Because,
we were just
okay, hold on.
We can probably find the Slack messages.
I'm gonna be honest. I was heated. Okay, I got to a point that I fortunately haven't been back to again, and know how to handle those things better. But yeah, I mean, it happens. Mistakes happens. But it was the fact that all of them were happening at one time, and every single last thing was avoidable. Like, not one of it was like, oh, like that's a new thing that I didn't know. Like, no, all of it was just like people not following the process. So, and you guys have also mentioned that I'm very understanding when it does come to mistakes normally. And so the downside of that is when like some mistakes get made, like I don't end up, it isn't always like, I don't want to say chastisement. What do you call it? When repercussions? There's not many like repercussions if like a problem does happen. And so, yeah, it just built up. But then everybody since then, like,
we've grown from it. I would say there's definitely been like growth from it. Not to just like throw Eric under the bus with that.
No,
but
it's okay. I'll take that.
Run over him.
Yeah, it's no problem.
But I think in the long run, like all of the criticism I've had has helped me grow. And without it, I wouldn't have been who I am. So I can appreciate it.
Yeah, it's hard to really call it criticism. I just say it's like advice because it's not like, it's such a negative connotation on the word criticism. So I don't even like to use it when it's like it's coming like from you guys. Like it's really just like, I don't know, it's coming. Even like, bro, I was like 3 days in of like project managing and Shania like, look, we got these shoes by 2 o'clock. Wayne, you done pulled up late, and it's like, I know Shania. Like this is somebody I done had real intricate life conversations with. I know she's not coming at me with ill intent. She just wants me to be in a spot where I understand that this is the system and this is how it works. So even when she did it, like, I couldn't be mad. Like, I was just like, who thinks she talking to like that? But it was like,
Wayne's World. Don't get it confused.
You in the car, we in the car ride. You know your mama yelled at you in the car and you don't want to respond for a minute.
He was quiet for the rest of the ride.
You gave me like 20. Like, look, the ride's 7 minutes. Let me be in my hand for 6 minutes. By the time we pulled up to the shoot, we back chopping it. Everything is good. But it's like those are the things where it's like I'm not. What the heck happened? Or, yo, you know, I can't work with her no more. Don't ever put me on. Like, no, this is still the homie. So it's like, I take it as like, yo, that's more love than you just letting me keep messing up and then me actually getting in trouble for something down the line. You know what I'm saying? So, no, it's just, and that's with every situation. I think I've had a conversation with almost everybody on the team in some retrospect. Even on the dope part isn't just work. Like, we actually tap into like life and give each other life advice. And I think that's the dope part. And like, even with life advice, I can listen to you and feel like it's not from ill intent or malicious or anything like that. It's like you're still trying to help me just in all endeavors of life. And it's like, where could you find that group at? I think that's just something that's probably one of the more special parts is that we take like work, but then we take our personal lives, everyone's like seriously, like, yo, how are you actually, like, when B like me and B walked around freaking Lincoln for like 30 minutes and it was like supposed to be a work one-on-one. We went from work to everything under the sun one-on-one. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah,
we be saying like, I love you and stuff to each other now, and that's crazy.
But it's like, those are the things where it's like, yo, you feel like this is somebody who wants me to do better in life. So when it's time for us to work on a project, I'm going to give you 100%. You're going to give me 100%. And this is how it's going to work.
Because we actually care about each other, too. It's like we can all read each other and tell when something's off. So it's like, even when I was in the parking lot that one day and I was just like in my head and you text me, you're like, hey, I can tell something's wrong. Like, I'm just here. Like, that made me feel so much better. And it's like, I think we've all done that for each other at some point. It's like, something's wrong. Let's help them fix it. Because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, we're friends, you know, we're family. We say we're family. We are, you know?
Yeah, facts.
And so,
Let's talk about this rumor that we're a cult.
hey,
Why
well,
do
we
you
have
think
matching
people-
tattoos.
Why do you
That's a
think people
start.
think that? Like,
First of
why-
all, all y'all branded.
That's
I ain't got
hilarious.
one. I ain't get one.
Are we
No,
branded? I mean, we do got a tattoo. But.
That's funny. I think that the cult comment comes from like just how tight knit we are, and it isn't. It's also not a clear way of entry, like because we have so many different like people who may have interned, people who just pull up and they're the homie, like people who don't have a title, people who have a title. People think that it's like this underspoken, done behind closed doors like approval process, but it's not. It's just like it's a community decision. Like some of the most recent people who've been accepted into our fold happen when like all of us look at each other and we're like, yo, that person's really dope. We should definitely spend more time with them. But if it's not a like group consensus, then it's like we'll see. Even when people get added to the Carbon team specifically, it's like I ask each one of the creators, what are things that we should be doing to make sure we address with them? And it'll be in the Slack channel.
Facts.
And so when they join the team, they can go back and read it. And it is like, hey, I'm excited for them on the team. But make sure you mention this just in
Facts.
case, you know.
I scrolled up like, let me see what y'all was talking about here.
Okay.
Oh, that's how you
Excellent.
feel.
And it's exactly what was talked about to him already.
Yeah, facts.
Because it's like more proactive. But we're not a cult. It's just like we're very passionate about what we do. And I don't know. I think it's just the fact that we are like really tight knit and we happen to enjoy different like similar things. But yeah.
Yeah, people definitely thought I was crazy when I went home for that Christmas break, and they was like, "Oh, what does this mean?" I said 1202. They said, "What's 1202?" I said, "It's the address to my job." They was like, "They was like, what
you
if
must
you get?"
really love your job.
I know, and then they was like, "Well, what if you get fired or like leave?" I said, "It doesn't matter. Like, my career started there. I'll forever be grateful for it. So it's never like a negative thing to me that I got it on my ankle."
I was explaining that to somebody I was in a meeting with yesterday. This building can burn down and we never be able to operate out of this address again. Who Carbon Stories is bigger than just here, but 1202 does mean something because of the growth that's been able to happen that again would have happened. I agree. I think everybody who's ever been attached or been here would have got to where they're at, you know, without being here. But like this is the specific place that it was able to happen at. And so it's really awesome that, you know, we were able to do that together.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I think that the same thing kind of happened even as I like started to come around more because it happened really fast. It was like I was just never around and I was in there every day. And everybody like, what are you doing? Like, what do y'all do down there? I'm like, just about everything that you can think of. But it's just, bro,
Burn
I think
mannequins.
it's like that. It's just how tight. It's how tight it is. I think that tight knitness, like people might see us work together, but then they might actually catch us like all out to eat somewhere, and it's like, yo, why are y'all always with
intimidates
each other?
people.
Yeah, it's like
they're
almost
like,
this fear
it's hard to
factor.
explain Carbon to people sometimes because like if someone's like, oh, like someone will DM me be like, yay, I want to like talk to you about Carbon, like I want whatever they want to say, and I was like, just come by after 5. The guys will be playing basketball. I'll probably be here doing something creative in the backyard or chilling. And they're like, come to your office, like after 5, what? And then I'm like, oh well, some of the teams hanging out doing a movie night. You hang out with your coworkers, and then you add the tattoo on top of it. That doesn't help anything.
No.
Saying like, oh yeah, we all got matching tattoos, and so I think it's just easier just to not to explain and just to show. Like I'm not gonna explain it to you, just come through and
Come
you'll see.
through.
Yeah,
Just
no.
come
I
through.
mean,
Awesome.
and just about everybody has like either spent the night here or taken a nap.
Oh,
and so like
facts.
that
I never have.
You've
It's-
never taken a nap or spent the
No,
night?
I still haven't.
Oh, I've
Sure.
done both.
You ain't been working hard enough. I'm kidding. I'm
no,
kidding.
it's just because like
I feel you though.
Not even on the
people.
beanbag.
No, it's
The
too many
old-
people.
I ain't
The
gonna lie,
beanbag.
that beanbag was lit.
Bruh.
I was kind of sick. That's gone. I ain't gonna
That
lie.
beanbag.
I told him not to get rid of
was
it.
Alistair has
Alistair
it.
has it. He'll bring it back.
You, ask, you can always come back. It can always
Like,
come
yo,
back.
Alistair, we actually
You
brought
saying
it
that
back.
now?
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
podcast
As soon as
people,
it come
y'all
in
heard
here.
that.
I said
here.
it could. I didn't say
'Cause
will.
any other time he said no, we're not getting
It gets
another one. I
so
don't want
dirty though.
back
Hey, he's
here.
actually right there though.
Yo,
Alistair's right
Alistair,
there.
bring
Yo,
that
can we get that
beanbag.
beanbag?
Bring that beanbag, Alistair.
No, but it was a gross beanbag, so it's fine. You can keep it. It got so dirty.
Say what?
I said he can have it.
Yeah. I just remember like sweeping the studio and then I like flipped the beanbag over and like everything I swept was on the beanbag. So I would like sweep again and you flip the beanbag over.
I remember you were asleep,
funny.
and either you were asleep or just on your phone, one of the two. And I remember looking, I was like, "There's a spider sitting next to you." It was huge, just on that beanbag.
I remember like someone was sitting there like jumped on it. I was like, this thing stinks. Like it just like smelled bad.
stuff will puff.
Yeah, you jump on it like
Seasons, you know, it was a season, and then that season was gone.
All right, I want to thank all y'all for joining us
Hey
today.
man, thank y'all
and
for
stopping
having
Thank you for having
by.
Thank y'all
me.
for
Be
creating
here.
Creator Die.
I'm
Y'all
here
dope.
often. Yeah, I
first
appreciate
of
y'all
all,
executing this
yeah,
idea.
fire.
I'm
No
happy
problem.
to
do
be
your
I'm
thing.
excited for this. I think
Facts.
this is gonna be a cool thing.
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time, we will see y'all later.
Create or die.
Create or
Peace.
die.
Peace. 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 Peace.